Good morning, everyone. Our call to worship this morning is entitled Words Matter. So convenient. It's the same as the title I chose for my sermon. These words, however, were not written by me. They were written by a colleague and friend of mine, the Reverend Carol Thomas Sissel. And I've adapted them just a little bit, as is my habit. When I use people's words in preaching, I have to put my own little twist on them. Diverse, multicultural, inclusive, welcoming. If I made a list of every Unitarian Universalist congregation I have visited or worshiped at, they would have a few things in common, including the use of these words. Perhaps on the front of the order of service, or proudly listed at the top of the homepage of their website. Maybe they're clearly present on a rainbow-colored banner hanging in the sanctuary. Wherever they are, more often than not, the words are proudly combined with another expression that has become an integral part of everyday UU vernacular. All are welcome here. I know why they're used so freely. Initially, there's a warmth of recognition when our eyes first catch sight of and recognize them. A sense of being acknowledged and valued moves from heart to head, and then a smile settles on my lips. My heart blooms. I feel like the welcome table has been set for me, and I am eager to pull up a chair. All of this takes place in an immeasurable instant. I love these words. I want what they promise, but it is simply not enough to print them in an order of service or in a newsletter. They must have meaning and intention at their core and be followed up by action. A desire for multicultural worship is a wonderful seed to plant, but it will not flower if that seed of yearning is not nurtured by a commitment and a plan. Longing for diversity of race, gender, or age is only a beginning. It calls for caring and creative programming. If we are to serve into the future, into the generations that don't yet know us, that must change. I believe that we can transform first ourselves and then the world. Without true resolve, planning, and measurable goals behind the things I see and the words I read, my trust and hope are broken anew. Why does this break hurt? Every time I see those words, I feel the possible revival of Unitarian Universalism generating in the warm soil of spirit. I've seen the transformation begin and take place across our country in places like Washington State, Washington, D.C., and California. Congregations in Oklahoma continue to push our faith forward. So yes, I am hopeful but wary. On too many occasions and in too many places, these words and the ideals they carry are little more than lip service. Words matter. They lift and hold us. They illuminate the future and shower us with possibilities. When misused, they hurt. Verbal cuts and abrasions sting. Language leaves wounds that can become scars. Words matter. If this and other UU congregations are not ready to meet the promises we craft and then share with the world, we should stop publishing them. Please don't invite me to sit at your table unless you have a warm, satisfying meal to serve. It doesn't have to be a gourmet feast. A potluck is just fine. The souffle may have risen only halfway. The cookies might be slightly burned on the edges. The pasta can be overcooked, and that's okay, because I'm starving. What it must be is fulfilling, real, made with love, and ready to be eaten. Remember, I believe what you say and what you write. Words matter. We ask for blessings on this church home and this congregation, that we continue to work to create and serve fulfilling spiritual meals made with love and ready to be eaten, and in doing so, ensure that this beloved community will remain for generations to come, who will also learn the power of their words and actions that manifest our promises in reality. Come, let us worship together.
Please rise in body or spirit and join our voices in our first hymn, number 41. I would like to invite David and Gail Murphy to light our chalice.
Let this flame be to us a symbol of the wholeness we seek. Its glow reminding us of the sacred bonds that link us to all living things.
Its radiance calling us to cast the light of freedom, justice, and peace upon all the world.
Please be seated. Good morning and welcome. I'm Caroline Mitchell, your worship associate today, and I would like to start by saying that we gratefully acknowledge the Patuxet Wampanoag people on whose ancestral lands we gather today. We commit to support and honor their history and culture. We welcome all of you, members and friends and newcomers alike. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, for this 1 hour you are part of this congregation and you are welcome. Everyone is invited to coffee hour following the service in the Assembly Hall. It's through the door on my left. Please follow the people that know their way and they're happy to guide you. For those who are visiting, you're encouraged to grab a red mug so that we can offer you a first parish welcome. I'd like to ask Meredith Lehman to come forward as she has a special announcement for our coffee hour today.
Good morning. My name is Meredith Lehman, and I'm a longtime member of this congregation. But today, I'm speaking as a volunteer with the Duxbury Afghan Resettlement Initiative. We call ourselves DARI, D-A-R-I. DARI, as the name implies, is a local organization, people who came together in August of 2021 to respond to the news that the U.S. was withdrawing their troops from Afghanistan and the Taliban there was seizing power once again. We learned that the U.S. was going to evacuate thousands of Afghan citizens who had been affiliated with the U.S. troops. To stay in Afghanistan put them in jeopardy. And so refugees were picking up very suddenly, leaving their extended families and friends at home and finding a way to board the U.S. planes that would bring them to America for safety. DARI wanted to help. We had a lot to learn about how to resettle a family. We worked hard, we prepared for a little over 3 months. And then, at last, on very short notice, we were told that an Afghan family would be coming to us in Duxbury. And so in December of 2021, we welcomed Maruf and Zia Wasaral and their 6 children, young children. We were able to do it because we could guarantee them housing. And this is because you, the congregation of First Parish, voted to extend the privilege of living in the parsonage where they would be safe and comfortable. This morning, I'm very pleased that Maruf and Zia and their children are joining us for coffee hour. They are the wonderful Afghan refugee family who have been living in the parsonage. They want to meet you today. They want to say thank you. They are so grateful for the generosity of this congregation that has given them a home as they learn to adapt to their new culture. This is a big day for the Wasserals, and it's somewhat of a challenge for them too. They came to us with no English language skills at all. But they are making steady progress working with their ESL tutors. They're learning to comprehend, to speak, to read and write in their new language. Their original language is Pashto. We have assured them that they will get a warm First Parish welcome at coffee hour. And I think it's made them a little less nervous. They are really a delightful family, and we know you will enjoy meeting them. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about the family, their evacuation, and their determination to build a bright future here in America, please be sure to take a look at the insert in your program of service. And thank you.
Thank you, Meredith. Since our interim minister, Reverend Susan Milner, has the Sunday off, I'd like to offer a special welcome today to our guest preacher, Diane Daniels. You can find her bio in the order of service, and to include our guests on Zoom, I'm reading it herewith. Guest preacher Diane Daniels was born and bred in Detroit and relocated to Connecticut to be with the love of her life, her husband of 32 years, Aaron Daniels. They have 3 grown children and 1 grandson. Diane joined the Unitarian Universalist Church in Norwich in 1997 and has served in multiple positions. She is a May 2022 graduate of the Master of Divinity program at the Star King School and enjoys guest preaching at UU churches throughout Connecticut, Rhode Island, and now here in Massachusetts. Diane recently achieved a preliminary fellowship with the UUA and was able to walk the stage with other UU ministers at the 2023 General Assembly. She recently completed a 6-month assignment as the sabbatical minister at the Universalist Church of West Hartford. Again, welcome, Diane. I would like to invite the children to come forward for the story of all ages.
Be comfortable, and I'll reassure y'all, I had breakfast this morning, so I don't bite. What a beautiful group you are. Okay, boys, handsome. But you're all beautiful to me. You'll find that those of us who have grandchildren, and I do, one of my grandsons is now 16. The other one is 6. Big gap in between the grandbabies, but that's okay. They're mine, and I love them. And for today, for these few minutes, you guys all belong to me. So I love you too. Our story today is called Telly the Talking Tabby. Telly, tabbies are cats, for those who don't know. I love cats, but I'm allergic to them. So even though whenever I'm around them, they gravitate to me because they know somehow that I love them, I wind up with my eyes itching and sneezing. So I don't get to spend a lot of time with cats, but I do like stories about them. Being a domestic cat came with a lot of conveniences for Telly. She always had a safe and comfortable place to stay, along with catered meals every day. As a result, Telly never had to hunt for her own food, so she wasn't as agile as the outdoor cats next door. "You're so slow, Telly," quipped Norman, the Robinsons' outdoor tabby. "What on earth do you spend your days doing?" "Yeah, are you even really a cat?" asked Norman's buddy Carl sarcastically. Who's got a Norman and a Carl in their life? Kind of sarcastic, maybe not the nicest folks all the time. Telly felt belittled and took their words to heart. She started looking in the mirror and telling herself how worthless she was. Those words of self-doubt started to grow roots in Telly's mind, and soon she started moping around in sadness. Her owner, Kate, noticed a difference in Telly's demeanor and picked her up with encouraging words. "My beautiful Telly, how you make my life complete," Kate continued. "My days are so much brighter because you give the best cuddles, and you're so happy to see me when I get home from work." Right away, Kate's warm words started to filter into Telly's consciousness. And the more Kate showered her with love and compliments, the better she started to feel about herself. Soon, Telly had only positive things to say to herself in the mirror. "I'm beautiful. I'm loved. I'm a good friend to Kate. I make Kate's life complete." No longer were Norman and Carl able to bring her down with their criticism. As long as she kept telling herself positive things, she knew that she would be okay. As a kitten, Telly really didn't notice the negativity of the outside world. It was always just her and Kate, her owner, and all she knew was positivity and love in her life. When she met Norman and Carl, the neighbor cats, they quickly opened her eyes to the insensitivity of the outside world. Because of their unkind words to Telly, she started to view herself as less than beautiful and kind, the way that Kate had always told her she was. That negative energy filtered into her mind, and she started developing low self-esteem, which manifested itself in self-defeating words that she would talk to herself. She would say bad, negative things to herself. We've got to change that. But then she started to remember all the good things that her loving owner Kate said to her. Soon the narrative in her mind changed, and she started saying positive things to her reflection again. This story may remind you of experiences in your life. The outside world can be really noisy, and it can easily make you feel like you're less than you are. The goal for you is to change the narrative and speak affirmatively. Say only good things to yourself about yourself. When you say it enough times, the words you tell yourself are literally spoken into being. You become who you say you are because words matter and they're powerful. When you look into the mirror each morning, consider all the beautiful things about yourself. From your hair and your eyes, to the tone of your skin and your smile, to your height and the way you wear your clothes. Tap into the power of your own voice. Find those things you love about yourself and talk about those things to yourself. If you have a friend that's feeling a little bit down, find something you love about your friend and talk about that to them. I love the curls in your hair. I love the color of your eyes. I love how tall you are. I love how pink looks on you. Focus on those good things and watch how easily they intensify. Use your words to lift yourself and your friends and your family up. Brighter days are ahead the minute you flip the script. Thank you for your attention this morning, and I hope you like this story as much as I like bringing it to you. Let's now sing the children out to their class.
Please rise in body or spirit and join us for hymn number 9.
Thank you, everyone. You are in fine voice this morning. Please be seated, be comfortable in your seats. Our meditation this morning is entitled, Teach My Heart Healing Words, and was written by Sam Trumbore. Teach my heart healing words. Show me words that help rather than harm. Instruct me in the verbs that bring energy, the nouns pointing to the real, the adjectives describing your subtleties. Reveal to me how words can be offered in a way that connects rather than separates, that develops trust and eschews suspicion, that opens the heart and relaxes the mind.
This morning's offering will now be given and gratefully received to continue the work of the congregation.
Thank you, everyone, for your generosity with this morning's offering. Our responsive reading this morning is found at number 461 in your gray hymnal. I'll give you a moment to pull that reading up. And it was written by Reinhold Niebuhr. Please join me in the reading. I'll read the Roman text, and please respond with the italicized text. It is entitled, "We Must Be Saved." Nothing worth doing is completed in our lifetime. Nothing true or beautiful or good makes complete sense in any immediate context of history. Nothing we do, however virtuous, can be accomplished alone. No virtuous act is quite as virtuous from the standpoint of our friend or foe as from our own. Thank you, everyone. I thought about the title to this sermon a couple times before I decided on it. I said, well, maybe, Diane, it sounds a little harsh. But then I thought about the many times that my mother had said something similar to me. If you hadn't guessed, I was a talker as a kid. So when I titled this one, "Words Matter, Watch Your Mouth," I heard my mother's voice in my head because I was the kid that always talked. I got decent grades in citizenship in school. How many people remember getting grades for citizenship? Because I was also told by my dear mother that teachers were second only to God and parents. You did not disobey. When the teacher told you what to do, you shut your mouth and you did it. Otherwise, there would be repercussions. And as a kid, you didn't want the repercussions. You'd lose privileges. You might not be able to watch TV, things like that. Words have a lot of power. How much, you might say? They have the strength to hold someone up when they feel like their strength is at its end and all they want to do is lie down and give up. They have the strength to take two people who were living separate and equal lives and join them together to build an even stronger, more loving, and more worthwhile life together. They have the power to steal someone's joy and make them think they aren't worthy of good things, good experiences, or good feelings. They have the power to make a perfectly imperfect human being ashamed of how the beautiful spirit of this world created them, and to make them hide and dim the light that only they can carry. The power of words, to be used for good or ill, to help us understand that we have the freedom, ability, and choice to speak our minds, and at the same time, we have incredible responsibility in how we use our power. Our words can be used to advocate for ourselves and for others. We can voice our dreams and decide our own destiny. We can also serve a wider duty, using our words and our voices for those around us. We can speak up for those who are voiceless and make a difference no matter where we go. We can choose to use our words and our voices for good. It's an incredible power, changing the lives of those around us and extending that power to change the world. Our voices and our words have power. And I said it that way for a reason. Power. We have it. Do you understand how blessed and fortunate you all are? There are people we share this planet and this world with who don't have that power. They cannot just say what's on their minds because their leaders understand the power of their words and their voices. We might take that power and that responsibility for granted at times. I know I've done it in the past, and I hope, no, I work to make sure I don't ever forget it again. I love affirmations, powerful and positive statements that can be used to change and empower your thoughts, your heart, and your spirit. One of my favorite affirmations is this one. I have the strength to tame my tongue. The power of life and death are in my tongue. With my tongue, I can choose to build others up instead of causing harm. I choose to use my tongue to bless others by speaking words of life to them and about them. Whatever I truly believe in my heart and speak with my tongue comes to pass. Therefore, I focus my intentions on speaking only positive words as much as possible. I focus on what makes my life joyful and what honors the power of my words. I am strong enough to overcome the impulse to blurt out words that can do harm. Instead, I exercise wisdom and restraint, and I only allow gentle words to flow through my mouth. Caveat here, I am also not afraid to call out bad things when I see them. That is also part of the power of our words. My love for peace is more important than my need to be justified by speaking my mind. I am strong enough to keep quiet instead of speaking words that will make a tense or uncomfortable situation worse. There is wisdom in silence. I think before I speak. I choose my words carefully, recognizing the power of my speech. I deliberately choose my words to affect every person and situation in my life in a positive way as often as humanly possible. I speak with grace. I use respectful language to honor those to whom I speak. I deliver my speech with tact so others can listen to what I have to say and hear the positive intent in my words. I speak to others the way I would want them to speak to me. I choose to speak slowly and consider my choice of words carefully. I consider the effect of my words before I say them and put effort into speaking words that have a positive effect on minds, hearts, and lives around me. Doing these things helps me to be impeccable with my words. To be impeccable with your word means that you hold yourself to the highest standards when you speak. If you agree to do something, you do it. The words you speak are truthful, kind, and accurate. It's not just the words you choose, but how and when you choose to say them. When your word is impeccable, your words are honest and useful. Others will appreciate you, and you'll strengthen your relationships when you decide to be impeccable with your word. I've got some doable and important ways that you can use the power of your words positively. First, know that honesty makes things simpler. It's true on so many levels. If lying is not an option for you, you'll avoid putting yourself in situations where you feel the need to lie. You avoid the guilt of lying and the fear of discovery. When you lie, you're also forced to remain on guard to protect your lie. You'll hear a lot about my mama in sermons because she was just that important to me. And one of the things she would always say to me was, if you always tell the truth, you don't have to remember what you said. Second, hiding the truth causes more challenges than the truth itself. Lying can be viewed as a greater offense than the words that comprise the untrue statement. When you lie, you're telling others that your word cannot be trusted. You're buying some short-term relief at the expense of your future comfort. It comes back around eventually, and people will start to wonder if anything you've ever said to them was the truth, including how you said you feel about them. Third, honesty and openness are not the same thing. Ooh, paradigm shift. Offering unsolicited opinions is not necessary. There's no reason to offer up an opinion if it won't help the other person. You might believe that your friend is 5 minutes away from bombing her presentation, but telling her that right before she starts speaking may be truthful, but it's not helpful. Telling your friend that you think they're fat is pretty open, but hardly helpful. I try never to offer up bad or negative opinions unless I offer either to help resolve the issue or provide a workable alternative. Before speaking, ask yourself if your words are helpful. And here's the key. Exercise the right to remain silent generously. Excuse me. Next, keep your word and your commitments. Few things create greater distrust than failing to keep your promises. If you promise to accomplish something, get it done. Be on time with everything you do, and if you can't, excuse me, disclose why early enough so that people who depend on you can adjust. Avoid gossip. Gossip is not a wise use of your words. There are other ways to entertain your friends and coworkers. When you gossip, you become part of the problem. Gossip is rarely accurate, and it's almost always at the expense of others. You receive respect when your word is trusted. When people believe they can trust you, they grow to respect you too. When it's discovered that you can't be trusted, that respect is lost and it's very difficult to regain. Trust and respect are easier to lose than they are to gain. And finally, under-promise and over-deliver. Be slow to make promises and promise less than you know you can deliver. Most of us, meaning well, do this backwards. We promise the best that we possibly can, and sometimes we come up a little bit short. Ensure that your words are honest and helpful and timely. How reliable is your word? Do your words inspire others or tear them down? Can people believe what you say? Do you lie to yourself? Do you believe yourself when you say you're going to lose that last 10 pounds? Do your words help others or harm them? Now, you're probably not used to getting homework in church, but I'm going to give you some today. Make the quality of your speech a priority for the next 30 days. Be impeccable with your words. Be honest, helpful, and timely with your speech. Life will be simpler and easier when you choose your words wisely. Be honest and supportive when you speak. Focus on being intentional and clear with your words, and you'll increase your level of trust and integrity. Thank you for your time and attention this morning. Amen. Ashe. Blessed be. Our closing hymn this morning is at number 23 in the hymnal, entitled Bring Many Names. As we extinguish our chalice this morning, our chalice extinguishing reading is at number 456, if you'd like to follow along in the hymnal.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
And now, just in case, Any of you have the idea that, oh, I could never do that, stand in front of a bunch of people and lead a service? You don't have to be perfect to do this. You know how I know? Because I left my final reading up there. So now I've got to go back up there so I can find the words that I wanted to share with you for the benediction. I didn't remember which number I was going to use. I tell you, y'all could do this. Not a huge deal. Of course, it does help that I decided on it ahead of time. I'm not trying to pull one out of the back of my brain. Our benediction this morning is at number 684 in the Gray Hymnal and was written by Duke T. Gray. The blessing of truth be upon us. The power of love direct us and sustain us. And may the peace of this community preserve our going out and our coming in from this time forth until we meet again. Thank you for the warm welcome this morning and for allowing me into this church's pulpit. Thank you.